morning, everyone. I am Casey. This is Boots and Bunny Homestead. Thanks for stopping by. We've got to go out and tend to some things in the garden because we were gone this weekend to see all of you guys. And when I got back, I had tomatoes just growing every which way. They done grew like a foot in 3 days. Laid over. I've got to get caught up on some things. So I'm going to take you out to the garden with us, and Stephen will be coming here in just a minute. But I'm going to take you out there with us to show you how to care for tomatoes. Some of you new people, or you might reference this later whenever you get a garden started, to see how to take care of tomatoes. Now, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got about 8 varieties out here. I've got about 32 plants. And Stephen will be out here to help me in just a second. So, let's head on out there and see what kind of mess we got. We got our stuff. Had to go get me some clippers. And I will show you about the clips that we're going to use. Alright. Now, what we've got to do out here is get these bushes under control. So, I'm going to show you real quick. We're going to do the pruning part because we prune. We do indeterminates. And that's why they're on cattle panels. And mine will outgrow these and lay over and start coming back down. And so we're going to show you how to prune them real quick. And then I'm going to show you the clips that we're using to get them tied up. And it's hot as Hades out here. So let me get you guys set up and I will show you what I'm doing. So here we've got our tomato. And this will be strictly for you new gardeners. We're going to prune it down to one stem, and this is the main stem right here. And how we do that, I'm going to show you what a sucker looks like. They are right here. You see how the leaf comes out right here? And then you've got this little limb right here that is coming off of the main stem right here. This is a sucker. And what this does is it's going to create another plant and going to suck all the nutrients out of the main plant in order to make this plant. So we have to take it, and if they're small enough, you can just pop it off. Okay? If they're a little bit bigger, you'll have to, like if it's getting a little bit thicker, you'll have to leave it because you don't want to damage your plant. So what we're going to do, that one was pretty easy to go ahead and clip off, but I'm going to prune it as well. So we're going to come down here and take off these bottom leaves, suckers and all. Now, you can keep this and put it in some water, or you can go ahead and stick it in dirt. But all these little hairs right here are roots. So whenever you stick it in the dirt or water, it's going to create roots, and this will be a new plant. So if you go buy or start plants, you can start very few or buy very few, pull off these suckers when they get about this size, plant this, and you've got a whole nother plant. And you're also doing succession planting, so you'll have tomatoes a little bit later in the season. The reason why we prune tomatoes is because of airflow, and that's for one thing. You want to get the airflow in here, because if you don't have good airflow, these are going to start getting diseased. Like whenever the water splashes up from the ground and gets on here, it's going to create diseases. And you got to have your plants to be able to dry out. And you want to go ahead and take all these bottom leaves off. And I take them off up to the bottom of this cattle panel until they get, of course, about a foot taller. I stay about a foot below the plant. And see this one right here? This right here is a sucker, but it's way too big. I've also got a plant, got a little baby tomato right there. So I'm going to take this leaf off underneath it because we don't need it. And the one around back. Now, this is pruned down to where I want it. And you'll see a sucker that's starting right here. So we're going to go ahead. I'm just going to take my nail and just kind of pull that off. And then here's another one right here. Go ahead and pop that off. And then as these begin to grow, we'll just come out here every couple of days, and you've got to stay on top of it. Every couple of days we'll come out here and do the suckers. Now, I also want to mention you've got to be careful not to top your tomato. So you want to stay a couple of leaves below the top of it. So here's the top of my tomato here. And here's 2 branches of leaves. I want to stay below them on any kind of pruning or suckers, because it looks very deceiving when you get up here to the top that you may think that's a sucker, but that's actually the top of the plant that's going to keep growing. So you don't want to top it because it won't grow anymore. And let me show you the clips real quick that we're going to use. These clips right here, and this sun's bright, sorry. These are the clips that we use. And you can get these on Amazon. We got a pack of 1,000. Wasn't very much. I think it was like $20 for them. But you can do these one-handed. So you close them and it snaps in there like that. And then whenever you need to move them or undo them, just press it and they pop open. So while you're holding up the tomato or holding other things, you can do these one-handed. Okay? And just watch them as your tomato grows. I never had a problem last year of my stalks getting too big for these. And if they did, or if I seen them getting kind of close, because I did have a couple that were getting kind of close, I would just take them and simply unclip them and move them up to where they had just a little bit more room. But I never had a problem of them getting embedded or anything.
There's babies on that one too?
Yes. I've done gotten behind. Now I've got to show you guys right here. You may not be able to tell which one is which, but here's the leaf. This one right here is the sucker that's already done gotten too big. This one is actually the main stem. So this one's also going to have 2 tomato plants on it. We're going to have 2 tomato plants growing on this one. It's going to be this one and this one over here. So we're going to have to stay hot and heavy on top of these, keeping them pruned down, so that way they have airflow and everybody gets good nutrition. Since we've got 2 stalks, we're going to have to kind of train it in the way it should go. So this one is not quite tall enough. Almost. We'll get it in a couple of days. We're going to let him sit there for a minute. And all we're going to do is go around the main stalk and just clip it. That's all we're going to do. Just clips on there. Now if you want to force it to be in a certain spot, you can clip it to, one of these. If you want to kind of go diagonal around it, it does take up a lot more room than just the single rung. And then on the second plant, we're going to have to kind of train it back here. And just be careful, but you can go ahead and pull it on back. And I'm going to have to clip around the plant and this leaf for right now. But we're just going to clip it around. And there we go.
We use that instead of doing the strings.
Yeah, I don't do the strings. That's just wasteful to me. And I don't want to have to sit here and untie and cut and, waste it. And it just gets on my nerves. So I like the clips. They're reusable. We bought these last year. And I've only lost a few. Sometimes the hinges do, get kind of broken.
Or being out in the sun, they get kind of weak.
Yeah, but I still have plenty. I got plenty. And I'll use, some of these are dirty. I'll use like down to here. And probably even more, because I usually only have like 10 or 12 tomato plants. And this year I have 32 because I have more varieties. Because y'all make me want to grow stuff. So that's those. We're going to get all these put up, and then that'll be it. This job will be done. We got them up, the ones we can. So here's how you clip them on there. And if you want to, after they get taller, if you want to put it on here, they'll just go, you know, straight across. These we had to put on there diagonal to help hold it. These that are not tall enough just yet, still got a few inches to go. It won't be, but, you know, within the week that we'll be out here tying these up. Like this one, it'll be another day or two, just because it's so close. I got this one tied up. And that one. Some of them we had to leave 2 stems because they were the same size and I didn't want to damage the plant by taking off one of those. So we just left both of it. And down here I had a huge sucker off of a Cherokee Purple. This right here is actually a sucker. I just stuck it in the dirt. I'm going to come back and water it and we're going to see how it goes. Of course it's looking kind of rough right now just because I yanked it off of Mama. Now, if they're kind of close and you've got a windstorm or something coming in that you need to support it from the rain, you can. If you got the clips, you can see here, we linked them together. Let me see if I can get y'all up under there. We linked them together. And then that way we can just hold that one up because it is crooked. Now, once they lay down, tomatoes, they grow along the ground and then the leaves start pointing upward. And all the little hairs and stuff on the stalk there, they root and they will grow along the ground and then turn to go up to the sun. So that's what that was doing, and I wanted to go ahead and get it supported. So we're all pruned. Everybody can breathe, get all the nutritions that they want, all the nutrients out of the dirt. I got marigolds out here. That's one of the first ones that's been blooming. So now it's a waiting game just to let these little babies get big. See what they do. If you followed me very long, you'll know that this bed is where my blackberries were. We took them out so we could actually use this bed. And I must have left some of the root because that is a blackberry plant that has decided to come up. And I've got another one over there amongst the cherry tomatoes somewhere. And I did not pull up the kale roots. So now I have kale underneath my tomatoes.
Volunteer kale.
I'm just going to leave them because the tomatoes will grow up and shade them. Let them stay as long as they want. There's a kale. And then there's a kale bush right there. And a little bitty one right there. But those are my peppers while I'm showing you. My lettuce has bolted. It's going to the chickens. Everything else is growing. Let's go over here to the shade. The sun ain't no joke. Alright guys. So that is our tomatoes. They have been pruned and desuckerized. Is that a word? I don't know.
Unsuckered.
Unsuckered. They've been unsuckered. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going to watch that one down there on the end of the Cherokee Purple where I stuck that sucker in the ground. I've got to go water it before it just croaks on me. So, anyways, we're going to be tying those up as they grow up or clipping them with the clips. Go out and get y'all some of those clips. Those are fabulous. They are cheap. Like I said, 1,000 of them for like maybe 20 bucks. I don't remember how much they were. They weren't very much. Get them on Amazon. If we can find the link, we'll put it in the description below. Just click on it. You'll go straight there. So, we're hot. We're going to go get a drink. Go inside and cool off a little bit. Get your tomatoes in order because if not, they're going to outgrow you. You don't want that to happen because then you'll have tomatoes everywhere and they'll be small. They won't be big. Pruning tomatoes makes them bigger. You're not necessarily going to get more, but you're going to get bigger fruit because the plant is putting all of its energy into the fruit and not the plant. You don't want leaves. You don't want to eat the leaves. You want to eat the tomatoes. So take the leaves off, get the tomatoes growing. So until next time, guys, we will see you later. Bye.